This is Days Gone. We're on PlayStation 5 taking a look at this exclusive title that now runs at 60 FPS. It does feature a dynamic 4K resolution scaling, so when things get too intense, the resolution scales. And we do have HDR support. So yeah, this is an interesting title. It's basically about a motorcycle duo as they deal with the apocalypse in their own way. And this is one of those zombie type games where there are many enemies to deal with. And it's quite intense as you deal with like large scale ravenous hordes. So what we're doing here is playing the sort of horde challenge mode in order to show off the fluidity and the general gameplay experience that is now present on the platform. So yeah, it's actually quite interesting. It is mostly story focused, but they added this horde type mode afterwards so that you can, kind of try out different game modes, different challenges, and get an idea of things. Well, basically it's just extra gameplay, which makes sense, just to add a little bit, more to what this experience has to offer. But yeah, it's quite intense, and you can get mauled really fast, which is kind of exciting. And we're gonna do another run here, retry. So yeah, mostly the reason I'm doing the challenges is A, kinda shows the loading, which is faster. B, also lets you see a little slice of the world without me having to dive into the story mode. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily huge on this one. I know a lot of people really like this game. I found the whole gas system to be a little annoying, needless to say. It kind of made me not really want to work through much of it, or as much of it as I really wanted to. And yeah, it's just kind of like, I had some like tedious type things to it, but I still sort of like the characters and the general gist of what it was. You basically like kind of throw down your guy and your pal there, and then you go off and you try to deal with things, which is interesting. Yeah, a lot of creatures, but what really makes this game so interesting is the fact that it just has like these insanely large-scale hordes that you have to deal with along the way, and that makes it just quite challenging because there are so many of them. So you have to like craft certain elements, and then you're also discovering little bits of what's left in the world, because obviously this is like an apocalyptic wasteland type situation, right? So things have not gone well, there's all these creatures, and then military presence and all that, the usual gist of what the experience is like in these post-apocalyptic games. And you're just kind of being smart in the environment, moving around and trying not to, die, and to keep the gas going in your motorcycle so that you can keep on keeping on. But yeah, it's kind of really neat. You get some really intense like hive type areas, and you gotta burn everything out, and it just gets wild. And as you can see, the enemies, they just stack up on you sometimes, and you gotta keep moving, and it can be a real challenge. I remember running to my first horde and just being like, there are so many of them, and they just they will overwhelm you, because that's the gist of the experience, is the challenge of having to deal with so many of these crazy things at once, and they just keep pouring out of places. This is a really good slice of the game too. This particular part of it is just kind of wild, especially when you first kind of start off and you're just seeing the quantity of things. It gets nuts. Seriously, this game can just be so overwhelming at times with the amount of these things. But there's also that story component too. Oh jeez, oh, and you fall and crack your legs. Oh no. Yeah, so we're diving into another little challenge area. This one's like a bit of a town section, but yeah, it's got some neat heartfelt story moments to it, some neat flashbacks, some dynamics. I thought overall it was a solid game. I just, didn't nearly like it as much as the other bangers that, PlayStation was chucking out at the time. It's just kind of wild. There's so many examples of fantastic games that came out on the PS4, and it's just like this one, just not quite at the top of my list, but I gotta give it to them. like environments-wise, they really nail, you know, the different kinds of settings you're going to. Oh geez, I don't know why I have my battle axe out. Is it because I'm out of ammo? Yes it is. Oh geez. Oh! Yeah, they get ya pretty fast, which is kind of tense. Like, keep in mind, regular gameplay-wise, you're not typically dealing with, like, you know, this exact sort of combination of them. Like, this is also a good stress tester, too, for, like, the performance on this one. So get a shotgun. Yeah, why did we get rushed so hard there? It's just kind of, like, nuts seeing the quantity of zombies. That's the bigger thing, right? Is, like, as we get along with gens and, you know, generations of gaming, and we get more and more, I guess you could say, CPU power and stuff, you can just get, like, the wildest quantity of things. It almost reminds me of World War Z, that game, you know, kind of being to that level of intensity with the zombies. It's just absolutely insane here. But obviously, I think these ones are quite beautifully detailed in terms of how, like, you know, how each one kind of looks a little bit unique. I mean, there's some repetition there, obviously, but you know what I mean. They do a good enough job of making these hordes feel dense, but also varied to a degree as well. And I believe that's only going to get more intense, because you got to remember, like, well, I guess this was somewhat of a later, you know, PlayStation 4 era title, which is why I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that we got this, you know, better frame rate in this one, because I didn't think they would necessarily do it, but they definitely did. What do we have here? Oh, a danger thing. I kind of need a new gun. But I love the, like, the attention to detail. It's a beautiful world. It definitely is. You know, they got some majestic scenes. I just wish you didn't have to do so much, you know, kind of gas collection and stuff. It just kind of makes it a little bit harder to really explore this beautiful place. There we go. We got a little bit more machine gun ammo. Challenge complete. Well, that was less exciting than I thought it would be. And you know, it's not all just zombies. There is, like, the human component to it as well. You're not necessarily just sort of, you know, dealing with undead people. There is a level of other folks being thrown into the mix. Maybe I should have grabbed, like, a gun from back there. Anyways, I guess this shows off a bit of the driving element of it. So the idea is here, I think we're trying to clear this horde as fast as possible. And you kind of move along the bike. Maybe I'm just not huge into the biking scene. Maybe that's why I wasn't as enthralled by this one as others were. Oh, we've got zombies! That bike did not make it very far. But I think it's a decent game if it's something that entices you. It's something, you know, I think a lot of people might be able to work through and have a good time with. And it's just going to be, you know, different types of people liking different types of things for this one. At least from my experience. Because I know, again, quite a lot of folks are like, oh, this is so great, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I don't know. Look at the logs. I like that part of the environment too, the fact that you can kind of cut down on things. Should we have, maybe grabbed this one. Okay, we got a lot of horde coming down. Maybe we should have taken the bike. I mean, it seems to be running quite nice, and that fluidity is really, really appreciated. That's for sure. Oh, jeez. Definitely makes running away a lot less sluggish. Ah, there are a lot of them. I don't know if the spike blade thingy is gonna really be all that effective against these guys. It's also got, like, a pretty cool setting. Yeah, I know it said the environment and stuff, but just, like, where it's specifically set, I think is really cool too. And then I got, like, this mountainous country road range. Uh-oh. When they come down, they really come down. And I think we'll give this... I thought this might be a bit of a good finisher here. We're just trying to clear the horde as fast as possible. While not necessarily having the best weapons to do so. So we gotta keep using this. I like how there are also all these little slices of the environment that we're seeing in these challenges, all these different like cool locations and that. Oh crap! Oh no! Get out of there, man! Go, go, go! I don't know why you would ever pull out that melee weapon when you've got a horde coming down on you like that. Oh, that is scary. Explosions are very satisfying, though. I don't really have time to hold down healing. I thought that would blow up a little bit bigger with the gas canister and everything like that. Oh jeez, I can definitely see why the zombie horde was so effective against humanity. The intense grouping and stuff is just not to be messed with. Okay, I thought the gas thingies would blow up a little bit bigger. But that is definitely not the case. But I think these, you know, giving us a good slice of life of the game and seeing how it's running and all that. I guess at this point there's not much you can really do but just sort of embrace the horde. Well, I mean, at least there's finally people that are really rabid after me. It feels nice to be so loved by such a neat collection of individuals. I am yours.